June 1st, 2009. A quiet night over Rio de Janeiro. A plane stands on the runway, lights glimmering against the wet tarmac. Inside, 228 people settling in for a long overnight flight to Paris. Families, business travelers, children, all believing they'd wake up in France. None of them would. The aircraft, an Airbus A330-203, tail number F-GZCP. A masterpiece of modern aviation, powerful, sleek, and trusted by the world's top airlines. At the controls, Captain Marc Dubois, a seasoned pilot with over 10,000 flight hours. Beside him, first officers Pierre-Cédric Bonin and David Robert, skilled, confident, ready. Together, they prepared Air France Flight 447 for departure from Rio's Galeão Airport. At 7:29 p.m. local time, the A330 lifted gracefully into the humid sky. Destination: Paris, Charles de Gaulle. The flight was expected to take just under 11 hours. The route, over the vast Atlantic Ocean, a path that cuts through the intertropical convergence zone. A place every pilot respects, because here weather can turn deadly in seconds. As the aircraft climbed to cruising altitude, 38,000 feet, everything was smooth. The cabin lights dimmed. Passengers fell asleep. The engines hummed a steady rhythm, a song of mechanical perfection. In the cockpit, systems were flawless. Autopilot engaged. Flight stable. Captain Dubois left the cockpit for a scheduled rest, leaving Bonin and Robert in command. Two capable men watching the endless blackness of the Atlantic. But ahead, an invisible wall of towering thunderstorms, the ITCZ'd, nature's wild frontier. They had a choice: go around the storm or cut straight through it. To save time, they went through. It was a decision thousands of pilots had made before, but on this night, everything would go differently. At 2:10 a.m. UTC, cruising at 38,000 feet, tiny crystals of ice began forming on the pitot tubes, the sensors that feed the aircraft's computers with airspeed data. Within moments, they froze solid. The system no longer knew how fast the plane was flying. A warning tone sounded, then another. Suddenly, autopilot off. In a blink, the machine handed control back to the humans. Alarms filled the cockpit. The flight control system switched to alternate law, stripping away its automatic protections. No stall prevention, no speed limiters. Now the pilots were truly flying alone. First Officer Bonin, startled by the alarms, pulled back on his side stick, raising the nose. It was instinct, but at high altitude, deadly. The airspeed dropped. The stall warning blared. Stall. It stopped, then started again. Confusing, unclear. Was it real? Was it a glitch? They didn't know. The plane began climbing higher and higher, but slowing fast, from 38,000 to 38,900 feet. Then, lift vanished. The A330's wings stalled completely. The jet began falling, silently at first, then faster and faster. Captain Dubois burst into the cockpit. "What's happening?" he demanded. But chaos had taken hold. The instruments disagreed. Each pilot believed something different was happening. Bonin thought they were descending too fast, so he kept the nose up. Robert saw the opposite. They were climbing, losing speed. But it was too late. The stall warning returned, louder. The aircraft's nose stayed high. Engines roared at full power. But the plane was falling, not flying. For 3.5 agonizing minutes, Flight 447 plummeted through the darkness, falling at over 10,000 feet per minute. The ocean drew closer with every second. Each pilot's inputs canceled the others, leaving the jet locked in a deadly stall. At 2:14 and 28 seconds, UTC, silence. Then impact. Air France Flight 447 slammed into the Atlantic Ocean belly first at more than 120 miles per hour. All 228 passengers and crew were gone. In the darkness of the South Atlantic, the aircraft disappeared into the deep, 13,000 feet below the waves. For 2 years, the sea kept its secret. Families waited, hope faded. Then, in 2011, search teams finally found the black boxes, perfectly preserved on the ocean floor. Inside them lay the truth. Investigators at France's BEA replayed the final minutes frame by frame. They discovered the pitot tubes had iced over, the automation had failed, and the pilots, disoriented by conflicting warnings, unknowingly kept the plane in a stall the entire time. They had never been trained to recover from a high-altitude stall without computer assistance, and the warning system itself, switching on and off, had confused even experienced aviators. The report was devastating. Air France Flight 447 wasn't caused by a single mistake, but by a chain of small failures, technical, human, and psychological, that aligned perfectly. The aftermath changed aviation forever. Airlines introduced mandatory stall recovery training. New pitot tubes were designed to resist icing, and Airbus updated flight logic to better interpret conflicting sensor data. From that tragedy came a safer future, written in loss, but built on learning. Today, every pilot who trains for a stall, every engineer who improves sensor systems, owes something to Flight 447. 228 souls were lost that night, but their story made the skies safer for all who fly. This is the tragic truth behind Air France Flight 447.